Well, hey everybody. It's the 23rd day of June 2025. I'm Jan Erickson, and this is As Above, So Below. Well, it's been an interesting weekend, hasn't it? Yep. Here we go. Let's go ahead and take a rune from the Elder Futhark bag. With the higher self side of things, we have Suillo. Suillo is the 16th rune of the Elder Futhark. It's literally the rune of the sun. It's an as above, so below rune. You can see the Kenaz skewed forward and then Kenaz skewed reversed there below. Kenaz is the torch or the light of spirit. And so you can see the relationship there between that and Suillo. Suillo can be about healing. It can be about self-confidence and well-being, energy, spirit, illumination. Again, the link between spirit and form with the as above, so below type of a energetic flow there. Let's see what we have for the Geomancy rune, though. There's air. Where is fire? There's water. There's earth. And there's fire. So we have conjunctio. I don't know that we've had conjunctio in a while. Looks like a little hourglass. Its complement is Carcer. This would be conjunctio. It looks like a little hourglass there. It's about union and joining together, collaboration. It may take, which is a higher consciousness type of an experience anyway. Well, I suppose it depends on how it manifests, but you may need to invoke the will today to be able to do that, to rise above things if the collaborative effort is not, going the way you might like it to, or it's not as harmonious as you might like it to if there people are arguing or whatever. And so it may take seeing things from a higher perspective to be able to kind of either get people back on track if that's your role, or if the role you assume, or maybe you're just having to access that aspect of self that can help you get through that moment in a more positive way, especially if things are not as collaborative as you want them to be. But it could also be about coming together with others in higher consciousness. Given what's been going on this weekend here in this country, and across the world, I don't know. This could actually represent some kind of coming together and unity of people in general, in higher purpose. So it could be something like that. But let's see what the cards have to say about that, define it a little bit further. I've already done some shuffling, so let's go ahead and cut the deck, take the lower half, and we have on Thursday we had a run on Pentacles. That was material security. Now we have a run on swords. So that's the air element. That's going to be communication, intellect, justice, legal matters, truth versus deception, the written word, the spoken word, things like that with the air element, thoughts. And then we also have the Ace of Wands. Now, I tend to value the aces in the minor arcana almost on the same level as the major arcana, given that they essentially define the suit, or they're said to contain all the aspects of the rest of the suit in it, because it's the beginning of the spark of ideas with the Ace of Wands. It's this, hand bursting out from the cloud holding a club, and new opportunities, new ideas, new creativity, if you will, new life, kind of the spark of life that's moving you forward, essentially. But I think what I want to do here, let's do first the, where's my calculator there? Let's go ahead and do the numerology. We had a 16 for Suillo, and before I go any further with that, just let me comment on the 16 that reduces to 7. And so you see the as above, so below balance. Well, 7 is about balance. It's also about magic. It's about spirituality, legal matters, Uh, Only I tend to like to look at the 7, although all those are true. I also like to see it as the scales, a set of scales where you let the pans settle out so that you understand what you're really looking at or understand what you have. And so there's some of that, with Sawillo, when you're invoking that today, that higher awareness, that higher consciousness into physical reality, you're going to want to really observe and let things settle out so that you truly understand things from that higher perspective, okay? And again, if it has to do with something more mundane, of maybe a collaboration is not going as you want it to, you're going to have to show that strength to the group, and help them find their way back to that, maybe. But if it's not that, if it's on a more worldwide or society-wide situation, we're seeing a lot of things that are very distressing right now, and I think that it's causing people to rise up and come together in unity and harmony, and in conjunctio with one another, for higher purpose. And so we've got the 16, and then let's finish with the numerology. I just wanted to get that thought out there. Plus 10 with the 10 of Swords, plus 1 from the Ace of Wands, plus 5 from the 5 of Swords. That's 32. 3 and 2 is 5, so that gives us an overall numerology of 5. Now, 5 is about change. It's about protection. It's about innovation and variety, freedom versus restriction. And so, again, if this is a higher collaborative, unified experience here, society type, of a number of people, right? Then I think that protection is part of that, but also freedom versus the restriction that will ultimately be placed on us, and what, in terms of the country, the U.S., what it's always stood for, and watching that all just be ignored and violated and all of that. So just keep both in mind when I do the short write-up on this, over on the blog at Stepping Aside. I'm going to do both things, both I guess levels, if you will, and we'll see how that goes. I think that I'm going to probably talk about the Ace last. I'm going to talk about the 5 first, and then the 10. There you've got a pattern there of a magnification of the same 5. So 5 and 5 is 10. So there's a pattern there. I'll mention that also in the reading notes. And then 10 reduces to 1, which then comes to the Ace, which is the 1. So there's a pattern here numerologically as well. So we'll just see how this goes. Let's talk about the 5 first. Here you've had something happen, and you see the sketchy brown clouds, or grayish brown clouds up in the sky. You see 3 men. One is clear over by the water. You can see the water's not so smooth, so emotions are still, pretty much present in their minds, especially this guy here. He's holding his head. He's pretty upset because he lost a battle of some kind, a battle of intellect, a battle of words, whatever this is however this is gonna apply in your life. But something's happened, and maybe there's been an argument, where either maybe this is you, reflects you, and you're very upset. But here you see this other guy taking a step toward that person, which I've always found interesting. And so both swords are on the ground, and the other guy is collecting. He's got 2 that he's holding, and he's picking up another. And the look on his face is he just seems extraordinarily satisfied over what he's done here. And so there could be something where someone has said something to you today that changes things. or recently that's changed things for you in terms of your perception of that person. Maybe trust is broken. Whenever I see sketchy clouds like this where they're starting to dissipate, some truth is starting to come out. And maybe if this represents you, or this represents you walking towards someone who's been hurt, basically their feelings have been hurt in all of this. Maybe some awareness is coming into play here where you're starting to understand just exactly what's gone on. And again, invoking Sawillo to do that, you're letting things settle out so that you understand the truth of what's going on. And with its 7 numerology, and invoking spirit to do that. But I think that clearly something that whatever has happened here, whatever this represents for you, it's caused some change, and you need to protect yourself. In a sense, him holding his head like this, here you can see, in a sense, that's a very protective stance, isn't it? So something's happened, and some truth is going to come out about it, and maybe you realize you've been played or manipulated or whatever this is. It could be a lot of different things. I'm just going to keep it really general and just say something's happened. It's caused some change. It's caused some realization. Emotions are still running high. And apparently, if this is you here, if this represents you, you do have some support who's wanting to make sure that you're okay, or you're the one that's trying to make sure the other person is okay, perhaps. We could say it that way. But when all is said and done, at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the next day here, 10's an interesting number, especially when it's written in a Roman numeral. Here, I'll talk about that in a minute, though. Here we have a guy on the ground, and his back has been pierced with 10 swords. Now, it may not be as bad as you think, because I think there's some realization here. And again, that's part of Sawillo and understanding the bigger picture. What I see here with him, though, is his head is not turned toward the reader. It's not on the ground. His head's buried in the sand. He's actually looking toward the light that's coming back. The night's lifting. You don't see the sun yet, but the yellow sky here implies that it's coming up. And instead of the water, you'll note here is all choppy. You see all the little lines in it. It's all choppy. Here it's all smooth. So the emotions have resolved. You've let go of and understood the message behind your thoughts and the deception and whatever has happened in the 5. You've come past that, and your head is turned toward the light now, and you're ready to invoke basically Sawillo back into your conscious awareness, essentially. And so with it's not that this person is dead necessarily. It's just that they're letting go of whatever happened here and seeing it realistically, seeing it for what it is, and essentially letting go of whatever nonsense this guy has done, and all the thoughts that you have surrounding it, that it's just not worth it. And you have to move on into the light, basically, and let the light be what governs your perceptions now, instead of letting this and the emotions you feel here, if that's you in this, defining all of that for you. And then from there, again, we have the Ace of Wands. Again, Ace is the number, it represents the number 1, which is about innovation. It's about talent and leadership and taking charge. When you see the hand reaching out from the cloud in the Rider-Waite, it either has, it's representing one of the 4 suits. You also have it in the 4 of Cups, where the guy's sitting, there's an oak tree behind him, but he's not leaning against it, and he's got this defensive posture with his arms crossed and his legs crossed, and he can't see the cups that are in front of him. What's supporting him? He can't see any of it. It's like he's in a pity party. He's so upset. He's so focused on his own stuff. He can't see anything that's being offered. And that's another place where you see a hand reaching out from the clouds. Can't see what's being offered. Well, here, with the Ace of Wands, again, the Wands represents the fire element, and that's energy. That's That's an active principle. It's new opportunities. It's growth. It's development. It's coming into some other kind of consciousness, essentially. That's new and still, because and on all of the wands or staffs you see in the suit of wands, you're always going to see leaves growing from little branches on them. So there's still life, even though it seems to be severed from the ground, essentially. In other words, no longer growing. You're getting that same type of energy from spirit is how that's happening. There's still life there. There's still growth there. There's still new opportunity there. So whatever has happened here, if say this is at work, all right, say this is or if it's on societal level, say that, this is the person who's done something that they shouldn't have done and has upended everything, basically. All that you know, all that you feel, it's all this emotion about it, right? Even though this is the suit of swords and the air element, you've got aspects of water with the clouds and the big water there behind, right? And it's basically just illustrating that you thought things were a certain way and now you understand differently, and it's really affecting you. And we can look at that either, on a personal level or on societal level. It doesn't matter. I know a lot of people are very affected by what's going on in the country right now, and especially what happened yesterday. And that's not okay. It's not okay with a lot of people. And it leaves people wondering, well, what's going to happen now? Well, it's the same sort of thing when you think things are a certain way and suddenly somebody goes and does something that lets you know, well, actually they're not. And there's something we have to face now. And instead of allowing ourselves to get all caught up in the thought process of it all, we're going to let that go and turn our faces to the light and let the light of spirit unleash the potential for new ideas and new growth and new development. And in the case of conjunctio, a new unity with other people, perhaps a new type of collaboration. Again, if this is like at work or something and not on a societal level, there could be somebody that did something that undermined you and basically pulled the rug out from under you, and did it in a way that was very deceptive, and so after thinking about it, and you just realize, all right, I can't be here anymore. I can't be in the upset. I can't be in the constant thoughts, the ruminating thoughts of it all. 10 is an interesting number. It looks like if you terminate the ends of the Roman numeral X, let's see if my pen will work. There's the Roman numeral X. If you terminate the ends, you have Degas. Well, not a very good drawing. My pen is not working. We're going to have to get a new pen. Anyway, this is Degas, kind of a rudimentary Degas. But it literally means new day, all right? The end of one phase and the beginning of another. And so, in a sense, that's what we have here. We're letting go of this, and we are basically turning our face to a new day, to the light that's returning from the darkness that got first established here with the Five of Swords. So now you know the truth. So the darkness is lifting. You can let go of all of that and start planning for the future. Now, if that means that you try to figure out a way to undo what has happened here, say this is at work or something, and you've got a coworker who's undermined you to the boss or something. It could be something like that. But in any event, or it could be, again, what's happening collectively here in this country, it could be that change is implied. And we can't keep going along on the same path, right? We have to let go of old ideas. We have to let go of old paradigms. We have to let go of all of the thoughts that are plaguing us, that keep us focused on what happened. Now it's about, what do we do about it? What action do we take about it? And again, if it's on a personal level, if it's in your personal life or work life or what have you, there could be something that's happened where it was deceptive, and now you got to figure out, all right, where do I go from here? What action do I take? If it's really serious, maybe there's legal action that gets taken, right? I mean, it could be something like that where somebody defames you and you have to take them to court, right? You may make that decision to do that. But the point is that you don't stay stuck in the in the thought process of it all. You have to let go of that and now move into the action phase of it, right? And that may be, and with 5, again, you're protecting yourself. That's the overall numerology. You're protecting yourself. You are letting go of any thoughts that are restricting you from doing what you need to do. That would also be a 5. You're accepting that change is part of this process and you embrace it, again, through higher consciousness, through Sowillo. So there you have it. I don't think we need another card here. I think that we can leave this very general because I think there's just so much going on right now that we all know about versus, our own personal lives, which just apply to us, that you can take this in any direction, really. I just think that what's happened this weekend is not good. And we don't know what's coming. So maybe nothing, maybe lots of things. We don't know, but we're going to find out here sooner than later, I think, aren't we? So this may be a time where higher vision is necessary so that we can come together in unity, and unity of purpose, unity of cause, unity of protection, because the more unified we are, the more on this, as we're on the same page about things. We may disagree about a lot of stuff, but there should be some things we don't. And protecting all of us, protecting our life here, protecting, the what it is we all stand for here as Americans. This is not it, at least in my opinion. So from a higher standpoint, you could say this is what happened this weekend is the catalyst for that. I mean, it's been building and building, right? And we see that evidenced in the protests on the 14th. That was just an amazing number of people that were out, and it's still going on, saying no to the authoritarianism, no to the fascism, no to all of this, because that's what's happening. And at some point, we all have to stand up and say, no, this is not going to happen this way. And, that may be a change from how we've seen one another, but it's time to understand what's truly at stake. And that affects everybody. Even the ones who thought they were for the, one thing or another, I think they're beginning to find out that they didn't get what they voted for. So, or maybe they did. I don't know. Some of them, maybe, I don't know. But again, it's time to turn our faces to the light and rise up in spirit together, in harmony and union and joining in the conjunctio energy of the Geomancy rune today. So anyhow, I guess that's it. Everything went up on the blog over at Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. If you forget, click on more. The box will open and you'll see right there is the web address for my website, and I'd love you to check that out. The forecasts, the correspondences for work and magic this week are up too, and plus the just the reading notes for each of the readings I do during the week. That's all there. So I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe if you haven't. I'd love you to do that, and come back on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.